Hello everyone and welcome to another card video. Today I'm using Your Next Stamp Hobby Chicks stamp set along with some stitched rectangle dies and the bold alpha dies. We were told to make a magical card and that's what I'm doing. I don't have very much magic type stamps, so I'm just using some magical techniques. What I'm doing is I'm taking all the stamps off of the backing of this stamp set, and we're going to trace this dancing chick onto a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. And I'm just using some tape to keep it still so I'm not moving it all around and messing it all up. This is a Cry-Cut Bright Pad, and it is so cool. And so I'm just using it to shine the light through the cardstock so I can trace the opposite image of what would stamp with the stamp that comes in the stamp set. I'm only tracing the parts of the chick that aren't girly. Like, I'm not doing the bow and I'm not doing the tutu. So that way I have like a boy chick. Does that make sense? And I can finish it off in those parts that I didn't trace to make it look like a boy chick. It's really cool. You could also do a mirrored stamping technique, but this is what I bought the bright pad so that I could do it. So I ended up having a massive failure with this card, and I'll explain that later, but this time I'm using the Memento TUXEDO black marker. When I remade the card, I used a Copic multi-liner in the, I think it's 0.05, and I liked those lines better, but this works as well. So if you either have any kind of Copic friendly marker to go back over your trace lines. Now, I know that pencil is not great for Copic markers, so be aware of that. It doesn't bother me. I don't find it to mess up my markers that much, so I just went over the pencil lines. Now I'm stamping the girl from the stamp set to dance with this guy. I've got this Molotow masking pen, and I learned something from this also, okay? This is a liquid, and you need to have a light hand with this. Now, it almost appears like a translucent film. So I thought that I needed to add additional masking fluid to protect my image. That's not the case. Even a light film on your image is going to protect it. It doesn't need to be completely opaque to protect your image from the ink blending that I'm about to do. I overdid it with the Molotow pen, and I actually ended up like tearing the image when I rubbed it off, or it saturated the cardstock. This is Neenah cardstock, 80-pound, and I used too much of it, so it kind of like dampened the cardstock and disrupted the tooth of the cardstock. I hope that makes sense to you. So have a light hand with the Molotow pen. A little bit does work. I'm using VersaMagic chalk ink in Sea Breeze and Key Lime to create my background. I got a little angry because when I tore my paper, this card was all messed up. That's why I had to redo it. But the techniques are still the same. I tore my paper with the masking paper when I pulled it off, and I was, ugh. But anyway, I'm rubbing off the masking fluid, and this is when I noticed that don't color your images first. Do the background and the masking with black and white images, okay? And use a light hand with the Molotow marker. So those are some expert tips because I made the mistake already. I'm using the bright pad and a clear cutting mat to line up. You can't see it very well in this video, but you can see those lines through your cardstock. Okay, so I'm using it to line up my dies, yes, to make them straight. And I need any kind of help to make them straight, I need that. And I cut dance right out of the image in the background, And now I'm cutting them out of a piece of craft foam. We're also cutting down the background with this stitched rectangle die. I figured, hey, what if I'd use the bright pad to line up my background too? So I used the lines from the cutting mat to line up my die to cut out the image in the center, and it kind of worked. So that was cool. I'm adhering my craft foam pieces, and then I'm adhering my cardstock pieces so that dance is inlaid into the image. And I'm just using, I think that's a multimedia matte that I'm using in that syringe. I have the syringe in glossy accents and multimedia matte, and sometimes I just grab one and use it. So once you have all of your cardstock pieces adhered, you can see the inlaid dance, and it just looks so great. Anyway, this is a piece of Lawn Fawn Black Licorice cardstock, and I'm using the sentiment from the Hobby Chicks stamp set that says, dance to the beat of your dreams, but I'm not stamping the dance part. I'm just using to the beat of your dreams. So the inlaid dance, and then the sub-sentiment to the beat of your dreams. And I'm just white heat embossing this with ultra fine embossing powder by Hero Arts. Of course, I didn't stamp it perfectly, so I have to do some fine tuning with the paintbrush. You can also use a white jelly roll pen. Like if it's not perfectly done, you can use a white jelly roll pen to kind of touch it up. I popped up the panel with some white craft foam, and this is popped up with some 3M foam tape. And I added some sparkling clear sequins and some Wink of Stella. And then that was it. That's my card. I hope you guys enjoyed it.